In Chinese classics, poetry, and folk songs, luminous, moving light, or luminescent fire were mainly used to describe those small, glowing insects. Today, everybody is used to terms fireflies or lightning bugs. Among those legends of fireflies, the most profoundly memorable story has to be the one about how someone used a bag of fireflies to read books at night, which kids learned in elementary school back in the early times. Back in the Jin dynasty of ancient China, there was a man named Chu Yin. His family was too poor to buy oil for the lamp for reading. In order to have the light to read, he used a see-through sack filled with fireflies to provide the light to read. Most probably this story is the reason why fireflies not only were the inspiration to the ancient writers and poets, also made a good example that ancient people did include fireflies in their daily routine. As most people remembered, fireflies were the kind that could glow and fly, just like a little fellow walking around with a lantern. In fact, those fireflies mostly belong to nocturnal and luminescent species. Males have a pair of well-developed eyes that enable them to find the luminescent females in the dark. However, these big eyes are very sensitive to outer light. They always try to keep away from the light whenever possible. Even if it is a small area in the shade, it can become their shelter from the light. In many cases, for those fireflies that is glowing in the dark, only little light will stop them from doing many normal activities. Therefore, in order to make advanced observation and records, it needs to do it under the infrared and use the astrophotography systems, so their natural behaviors can be observed correctly. Firefly is an insect that belongs to the Coleoptera, and in most people's mind, it is a small flying insect that is nocturnal and luminescent. Surprisingly, in the etymological classification, there are some species that are active in the daytime and not capable to glow at all. Also, there are some species that are capable to be active during the day and night. They mostly cannot glow either. These small insects that cannot glow, according to scientific studies, the main reason why they are classified fireflies is that their larvae, on the other hand, can glow. Somewhat unexpectedly, there are some species of fireflies are active during the day and cannot glow. Perhaps it is beyond many people's knowledge in this unique case. If we look at it from the evolutionary changes and the adaptive functions point of view, adult fireflies are short-lived, and most of the species live no longer than 2 weeks. Moreover, some species live only as long as 3 to 5 days. Their only mission to live is to breed. As a result, the female in many species is bigger than the male, and it doesn't like to fly. Furthermore, there are some species that some of their female's body parts have degenerated in order to concentrate the energy for laying eggs. The most obvious parts are their wings and head. You can tell easily if they are compared with the males. The structure of the female's head, especially the eyes and the antennae, obviously they have degenerated much more than the males. It is also the common characteristic in female fireflies among many species. In some species, the 6 legs of the female fireflies have degenerated into a small section, and the whole abdomen is like a leather sack filled with eggs. Can you imagine that this is also a firefly? Of course, if you have a chance to see it glowing in the dark, you will understand why it is also called a firefly. Female fireflies can be roughly categorized into 3 different types by the condition of their wing degenerate. The first type is that its wings have not degenerated. They are the same as the males, which are still able to fly. The second type is that its front wings have degenerated into semiptera and become flightless. The third type is called the worm-like, or the larva-like. Its wings have completely degenerated and left only a small part as a small patera. In some species, the wings have even degenerated completely, that it has nothing left to show. Although the female fireflies have many different types, still fireflies mainly are classified, studied, and named based on the males. They are like other insects. Each body has 3 main parts: a head, a thorax, and an abdomen. In some small-sized species, their outside appearance looks exactly like a small beetle. But there are some large-sized species people think that their appearance is so unusual that it looks like a cockroach. The main reason possibly are the dark-colored wings and the structure of a piece which covers the head near the top of the head. That is unforgettable to many people. In etymology, that piece of structure is called a pronotum. How a firefly classified and named is based on the colors of the appearance and its patterns. This is a yellowed thorax black-winged firefly in Chinese. It is because it has an orange-yellow pronotum. And this is a red thorax black-winged firefly in Chinese. It is because of its orange-red pronotum. This one has black wings and a sun-kissed yellow thorax, with a clear black pattern in between. It is called pattern thorax, black-winged firefly in Chinese. And the large-grouped lynchurus, its characteristic is that at the front border of its thorax there is an area of transparent window-like piece, so that it is called a window firefly in Chinese. Beside the pattern of its pronotum on a firefly, its color and design of the wings are also one of the sources for naming in Chinese. These were the most commonly seen fireflies near the plain and the field in the early time of Taiwan. They have black wings with yellow thin line pattern at the edge. Therefore, they are called yellow edging fireflies in Chinese. This species then is called tipped black firefly in Chinese. It is because it has a black mark on the tips of its orange-brown wings, so it gets its name. And this firefly, its appearance is similar to tipped black fireflies, except of its body is bigger, so it is called large-tipped black firefly in Chinese. Talking about the sizes of the fireflies, recently in recognition of all species of Taiwan, these are the earliest found fireflies in Yunnan province in China. They are named Lamprigera yunanis. The female's body is long. It is as long as 3 to 4 centimeters, or it can be longer. The male's body, on the other hand, is only about 1.5 centimeters long. Some of the bodies of Taiwanese mountain windowed fireflies have the same sizes in both sexes. They are similar to Lamprigera yunanis, and both belong to the large-sized species of Taiwan. And the recently found species of the smallest fireflies has to be the male of the patterned firefly. Its body is only 0.5 centimeters. It can be easily comprehended and realized how tiny it is if it is compared with single rice side by side. Pattern fireflies belong to the Luciolinae. The describing character 1 of Luciolinae is Chinese to describe the flashing light. Therefore, those species that belong to the Luciolinae, their flash sequence is a pretty typical and twinkling light. Relatively, some species, especially such as Lampigaria unanus and many Luncherius male fireflies, the light they produce is unlike the Luciolinae's. It does not twinkle, but it is a long-lasting and continuous light. The Luncherius and the Luciolinae are the two big groups in Taiwan. There are near 30 species, which takes 70% of the well-known species of Taiwan lately. They are not only having more species, but also in larger groups. We can see fireflies at night that are mostly luminous Luncherinus and Luciolinae, these two big groups. The light organ of the firefly is located in the abdomen, where the light-producing chemical is stored. After an enzyme process, the chemical energy from the reaction is transformed into light. The light production in fireflies is very efficient. The whole process, only 2 to 10% of the energy is turned into heat. The rest is used to produce light. As a result, the light it produces is cold light and produces no heat. Of course, it will not burn the hands. Most of the male fireflies have 2 segments in their light organ. The light organ in female, then, is slightly different with different species. The male's light organ of the Luciolinae